Welcome to another episode of On the Bank Angling. Today I'm going to talk to you about my 5 top tips for lure fishing for pike. Now, biggest one for me is you can do this before you even look at a swim to choose, right? And it's just looking at the water, seeing whether it's murky or whether it's clear. If it's murky, you want to be going high visibility, high, like rattling, so you've got ones like that rattle. You want to be looking at maybe soaking your jigs. This is something that a lot of people do and it does work. So get something like mackerel oil and just soak your jig overnight, or you can do it on the bank if you want to. Just soak it there for a few hours and then you're away. You can be using that extra attraction just to bring the pike in, because their visibility is going to be low. They feed from vibrations, from they're a visual predator. So you want to be making sure they know your lure's there, because on a clear day they're going to be able to see it. You're not going to have to do some of the stuff that you're going to have to do on a day where the water's murky. So visibility is a strong point. If they can't see the lure, then you're going to have to bring it closer to them for them to take it. So obviously anything you can do with a rattling lure or with using a jig that's been soaked, anything you can do like that will increase your rate of bites. So that's a huge tip first. Obviously when it's clear, I use natural colours. So you've got just your natural silver and obviously your perch colours. So the darker colours will work better when it's clear, but obviously when it's murky, you've got your yellows, your bright colours, and soaking will get you more bites. So that's tip number 1, and that's a big one to start off with. Right, well, tip number 2, this is going to be to do with how you're fishing it, really. So you pick your swim and you want to do about 10 casts. Like, I use 10 as my number. So when I get into a swim, I don't want to be doing more than 10 casts, because I want to be able to move around the lake, because you don't want to be lure fishing in one spot all day. That's not what you want. You want to be moving around and finding the pike. So 10 casts in one swim, move on. That's tip number 2. It's simple, and yet it'll increase the amount of pike that you land, because you'll be able to move around, you'll be able to find them, travel light, boom, you're away. Tip number 3, this is another quick one. It's counting your lure down. Now, a lot of people don't do this, and it's important, because the pike aren't going to be in the top layers all the time, and they might be occasionally, but when you cast like a slow sinker down, so these Savage soft play ones, they're slow sinkers, so when you cast that out, if you retrieve that straight away, it's going to be coming in a foot under the surface. You're fishing an 8-foot lake or canal, you're going to be fishing on the top, aren't you, really? So counting your lure down, especially important. Obviously you don't have to worry about that when you're thinking about, well, when you're casting out divers, because they'll do that for you. When you reel that lure in, it'll shoot down. So you don't need to count them sort of things down. But slow sinkers, stuff that has to sink on its own before you retrieve it. You got the ones that'll come in, like say with the little lips. They'll come in at whatever depth you let them sink. So you let them sink 4 foot, you count it down 4 seconds, depending on how quickly it sinks. Test that in the margin, bringing it in. So that will come in at whatever you let it sink. That will come in at that speed, and that. So you bring that in, and it will come 4 foot in an 8-foot water. You never know. The pike might be up in the water, and that might do you more bites. Obviously you can let it sink right to the bottom and bring it along the bottom, because it will stay at that depth on your retrieve. So that's another easy tip. People don't do it, and I don't know why. That'll get you more bites. That's a good tip to use. Tip number 4. Now, pike, when they're feeding hard, they will always choose the weakest fish. So if it's sort of swimming a bit differently to the other fish, it will always pick the easier target, because it doesn't want to waste energy. I mean, you'll get your jacks that will go after anything because they're full of energy, but the bigger pike always go for the injured fish. So when you're bringing in your lure, you want to be trying to emulate a fish that's on its way out, or it's about to die. So when you're bringing it in, you can do your short, sharp pulls and then just let it go. Bring it in, let it go again, and the lure will do the work for you. It will go belly up and then it will go back. And that's emulating an injured fish. When you're jig fishing, that's why you lift it up and you let it drop back down and you let it sit there for a second, because something could be watching that and it will watch it go to the bottom and it will be thinking, what's it doing? And then you lift it back up and it will hit it. It will go for it because it's thinking it's an injured fish, it's going to be an easy target. And pike are very, very, I wouldn't say lazy, but they're intelligent. Like they will go for the weakest looking fish. So tip number 4 is it's an important tip. Always try and make your lures look injured. Don't just bring them in as fast as you can. A lot of people do that, and you don't want to be doing that, because you'll get your jacks, you'll catch a little pike, but if you want to get bigger pike, you need to be doing something that emulates a dying fish. Right, tip number 5, and this for me has caught me more pike than any other tip, and that's when you retrieve your lure, don't take it straight out of the water. What you want to be doing is you want to be letting it sort of mill around in the margin, because when it's milling around in the margin, a lot of pike just hit it from the margin. They'll come up and you'll see it happen, and it's the best thing you can do in lure fishing. Just watching that pike smash into your lure in the margin. And I get more pike doing this tip than any of the others, because I'll bring my lure in and I'll play it around in the margin. I'll lift it up, I'll drop it down again, I'll lift it up, I'll drop it down again, move from side to side, and not 9 times out of 10, because I'm not that good of an angler, but a lot of the time they'll whack into it, and you'll be able to watch it happen. And that's a brilliant moment when you're lure fishing, to be able to see a fish hit it, to see a pike hit it. It's amazing. Like you'll get the rush, but you also get a lot of fish doing this. You'll notice it if you've never done this before, and you go out next weekend or the weekend after pike fishing, and you start to do this. Like in the canal, it's perfect. It's deep. You can bring it to the margin, lift it up, lift, drop it. Because a lot of time, a pike will follow it a long way. I've had pike hit once, nothing, retrieved it in, moved it in the margin a few times, boom, hit it again, and you know it's the same fish because it's followed it in. Like I said in the last tip, they're looking for the injured fish, and they'll stalk their prey a lot of the time. So you leave it in the margin, pike will come up and they'll hit it in the margin. Easy tip, but a lot of people don't do it again. And that's it. That's my top 5 tips for lure fishing. Hopefully it'll get you guys some more fish. Hopefully you'll take on board some of the stuff that I've said and you'll try it in your own angling. Just leave in the comment section below whether anything's worked for you and whether it's helped your angling. Remember to check out our Facebook page, On The Bank Angling. We've got competitions going on all the time, and it's just somewhere to share your angling photos. We're always interested to look at people that are fishing anywhere in the world, or even in England. You know, carp fishing, match fishing, pike fishing, any type of fishing. We're interested to see what you've got to say, see your pictures, hear your stories. So thanks for watching today, guys, and I hope, like I say, something in this video helps you catch more pike, because that's the aim.